Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating intersection. We're going to look at how the greatest alternative education frameworks of the past, we're talking the heavy hitters here, stack up against literally the biggest threat to learning today, the modern AI attention economy. If you care at all about how we learn, focus, or honestly just the future of education, you're absolutely in the right place. So let's get into it. Picture this, and I bet it's an incredibly familiar scene. It's 10 o'clock at night, you walk past a teenager's bedroom door, and there it is, that unmistakable blue glow. They're just continuously scrolling, and there's just this total stillness, right? But it's not the stillness of deep, focused concentration. It's the eerie stillness of someone who just isn't really there. We'll usually brush this off as the phone problem, but as the source material from Jin Lee argues so clearly, the phone actually isn't the root of the problem. It's really just the delivery mechanism for a much older, deeper issue that's baked right into our current educational models. And this brings us to award-winning New York teacher John Taylor Gatto. Decades ago, he realized something pretty mind-blowing. The industrial school system was actively designed to teach hidden lessons, and the absolute most dangerous one for our world today? Intellectual dependency. Basically, from primary school on, kids are trained that the teacher, or the system, holds all the answers. The factory model of schooling literally rewards compliance over curiosity. And because it nurtures this intellectual dependency, our kids become helpless, prime targets for passive consumption. So here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover the real phone problem, 3 giants of education, the AI attention economy, the PMC protocol solution, awakening first, and finally, how to build the new model. Starting us off, Section 1, the real phone problem, and why, as we just touched on, it's not actually the phone. To truly figure out where we're headed, we've got to look back at where we've been. Section 2, 3 giants of education and their legacy frameworks. You see, when the industrial factory-style education system first started failing us, 3 legendary frameworks stepped up to the plate. Maria Montessori combated the idea of uniform pacing by introducing self-directed work. Reggio Emilia fought back against rote memorization with these beautiful, emergent, creative projects. And the International Baccalaureate, or IB, countered nationalistic silos by teaching global citizenship. It's like they each cracked a massive piece of the puzzle. They brilliantly solved the major 20th century problems. But, as we're about to see, they just weren't built for the 21st century. And that brings us to a massive twist. Section 3, the AI attention economy, an unprecedented threat. Think about this. In the 1920s, a child in a Montessori classroom might get distracted by, a butterfly outside the window. Today, that same child is facing off against a 24/7 trillion-dollar personalized extraction algorithm. A beautifully crafted Montessori shelf or a deeply engaging Reggio project just cannot compete with a totally hijacked brain. These modern platforms aren't passive environments. They are continuously learning systems optimized at an industrial scale, explicitly designed to grab and hold attention. The legacy frameworks couldn't have planned for this, because this kind of technology literally didn't exist back then. So the modern attention economy actually runs on what the source material calls NPC state capture. If you play video games, you know NPC stands for non-player character, basically a background character running on a pre-written script. When an algorithm figures out exactly what triggers a teenager's fears, desires, or social comparisons, it turns them into a passive, reactive NPC just running on autopilot. And the more unconscious they are, the more valuable they are to the tech platforms. It's not a glitch, right? It's the whole business model. Okay, so how on earth do we fight back? Let's move to Section 4, the PMC protocol solution and its structural defenses. Now, here's where the contrast gets really fascinating. Montessori, Reggio, and IB gave us incredible student-centered learning, but they have absolutely zero built-in defense against modern AI manipulation. If a student slips into algorithmic drift, those legacy frameworks completely collapse. They just aren't equipped for it. The Open PMC Protocol, or Personal Mentoring Cell, inherits all that project-based genius from the legacy models, but it's explicitly engineered for the AI age. Instead of just kind of hoping a student stays focused, PMC actually embeds hard, structural countermeasures against AI distraction directly into the learning process. It's a real bean changer. So how exactly does it pull that off? Section 5, Awakening First with AI, and using AI as a partner. Because honestly, you cannot teach global citizenship or self-directed learning to a teenager who hasn't even questioned the invisible scripts running in their own head. It all happens in a very specific cycle. Step 1 is awakening first.
This is where a mentor acts like a mirror, just asking questions to help the student notice when they're slipping into autopilot. Step 2 is the intentionality phase. The student has to consciously choose to be present. That is a hard prerequisite for everything else. Only after those structural defenses are triggered do we get to step 3, using AI as a thinking partner. We want them using AI to dive into genuine curiosity, not just using it as a cheat code to do the thinking for them.
And what I find truly amazing about the PMC protocol is that its architecture is completely open. It doesn't force some rigid ideology onto anyone. Any community can take this exact structural defense against AI and naturally translate it into their own cultural or religious vocabulary. The reference model uses those gaming terms we talked about, NPC versus PC. But a Muslim community might frame it as heedlessness versus awareness. A Buddhist mentoring cell could use ignorance versus the awakened mind. A secular public school, they could just use cognitive science, automatic System 1 thinking versus effortful System 2 thinking. The vocabulary changes to fit the community, but the structural defense against the algorithm stays rock solid. Which brings us to our final step. Section 6, build the new model and start a cell today. The brilliant architect Buckminster Fuller once hit the nail on the head. He said, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." Look, the source material points out a tough truth. Centralized government bureaucracies and huge exam boards are never going to voluntarily disrupt themselves. They've got way too much institutional inertia. So waiting for them to suddenly adapt to the age of AI, that's a losing game. We have to build these mentor cells from the ground up ourselves, in our living rooms, in church halls, and in our local community centers.
So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We know the legacy systems, as beautiful and revolutionary as they were in their time, are just totally outmatched by the screens in our kids' pockets. But the tools to reclaim your child's attention, to help them step out of being a passive NPC and into being an active player in their own life, are literally available right now. The Open Protocol is out there. So will you wait years for the traditional system to slowly, maybe catch up? Or will you build a mentoring cell today to wake up your child? That choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some incredible, much-needed conversations in your own communities.